now let's move to the final chapter of today's event, which is the panel discussion. So I would like to invite Francisco and Hamid to turn on their cameras. And the topic of today's panel is what's really needed to speed up the dissemination of advanced solar modules. Okay, so thank you very much, Hamid and Francisco, for joining here. So, we have seen really very nice, interesting products designed for different applications, and but just take a one step back and then just see that there are also a wide variety of products available in the market with different BOMs, bill of materials, that can already address several application scenarios. So a question to both. So what parts of today's demand can be really covered with the standard products? Francisco, maybe?
I start? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Indeed, standard models are not excluded by different scenarios that we are talking about. For sure, even the standard models are designed in order to increase reliability, and they have to fulfill a lot of quality requirements coming from the standards, coming from customers' demand. So the quality level, despite the final price is reduced, the quality level is increased, and and we can fulfill, a very high rate of applications with standard models. But we are trying to right now to educate a little bit the market and final customers to check the real conditions of every application in order to select ready solutions as available new products that can increase this average quality level that is still high to a better level. So I think still standard models are compatible and competitive for different scenarios as well.
Ahmed?
Yes, yeah, I do agree with Francisco, and we have to consider that, for example, many years ago, let's just say 25, 30 years ago, PV were only targeting Europe and North America. And everything was designed basically for that climate. And so modules were like one BOM, one size for a very, very long time. No, these days we have PV everywhere. So in every spot of the world, you can implement it. And of course, it comes with different requirements, different altitude, different weather conditions. So modules have somehow evolved in bill of materials. So this means that lots of modules can be actually used, or standard modules can be used already in many climates. Because the bill of materials, including, for example, backside cover, encapsulation material, cell technology is already evolved and changed. I wouldn't say that it is absolutely better than 30 years ago, but of course, it's a significant improvement when we want to generalize it over the world.
You represent different companies, with very different sizes and integration levels. So how important it is for you to focus on application-specific products for you as a company, AESOLAR and JSOLAR?
Yeah, okay. This... can I?
No, go on.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure, the different scenario approach is very interesting, even from JA. We are a big manufacturer, one of the biggest, but in terms of volume, and for sure, the highest rate of our production is dedicated to, let's say, standard production and standard environments. But the trend is right now to find new spots for new applications, new scenarios, and we are, I mean, let's say we already started a few years ago this process. And as I said before, this process is ongoing, and it's very important for the future of our company and of the industry as well. As you said at the beginning, when you go to an exhibition, there are a lot of products, a lot of solutions, also some very small niche markets that are, let's say, covered. But the point is clear right now. So now the industry is mature, and we can start any kind of process in order to develop and put in mass production solutions for different scenarios. So I think it's very interesting, and this path is in the beginning, let's say, since 2-3 years, let's say, in a very large scale, and it will continue for sure.
Okay. So for us, the scenario is a little bit different. So we are smaller so production compared to JA, and therefore it brings for us more flexibility. And we have to consider here that the niche markets were small previously. It was like negligible. Yeah. But now the niche markets already are really, really big markets. And for example, when we look at agri-PV or floating or other markets, they are in megawatt scales projects and with the potential in terawatts. So we are highly focusing on that. And this is actually one of the strengths of us, that we are highly customer oriented. So this means that we can be flexible with orders, we do innovations, and of course, it's where we can match quite well the German engineering with Chinese production efficiency. And this helps us quite good to actually answer these demands. And it's actually one of our strengths, which of course comes with our size and also with our business model.
Okay, so I think I will continue with Hamid. During the prep call, you said choosing the right product is often can solve the purpose. So what are the top 3 guidelines one must follow when choosing the in quotes right product?
Yes, the problem is that today when we are talking about modules, everybody talks about power and price, of course. So these are the 2 factors that people mainly consider, because they can measure it immediately. You know how much you pay, and you know how much is the power. But reliability is always neglected. So not always, but most of the time. And here there are, for example, some factors. Most importantly is climate. This is something what Francesco also addressed in his talk. We need to consider that we have like different, and also you, Shaban, we have like different climates, and for each climate we need a specific bill of material mainly, or like a right choice of the module. Because, for example, when we are going to the deserts, it's probably a wise idea to go for glass module, because backsheet has a higher degradation probability compared to the glass. Or for example, when you are going to alpine area, it's always important that you look into the stiffness of the module, that it wouldn't bend under snow load or wind load. So each of them have like different specifications that needs to be considered, but therefore it's when you are choosing the right product, maybe the product is already in a standard product. For example, when you are choosing a desert module, when you are going for a module with polyolefin encapsulant compared to EVA encapsulant, it's a better choice because it degrades less. So this is like one point which is very important to look into the climate. And the second is the other balance of system components. For example, when you are choosing a large size module and you want to put it on a tracker, you have to really check whether the tracker is covering the backside of module in a reasonable way. So it doesn't, we always get, for example, some kind of questions. Okay, I want to put it on this tracker, but this tracker, for example, supports only half of the module. And I say, okay, yeah, you have a risk in your project. The guarantee is on danger if I want to do this. I said, okay, I buy it from another manufacturer, but it wouldn't solve the problem. The module will still bend, So this is a big problem that we are having. Or, for example, we see the recent price development in the modules compared to the mounting systems. We see mounting system is more expensive than the module. So people put like modules and clamp them on a corner on a pillar. So the module is clamped on 4 corners with no support. So these are all challenges that comes also from a pressure from the other system component manufacturer.
Ecosystem, yeah.
Exactly, which needs to be answered. So here, these are like choosing the right size for the module is also very interesting or important compared to the where you want to put the project in the specifications there. So it's not always the initial investment, but it's also important to look to levelized cost of electricity, which also includes the degradation and risk of the damage for the project.
Okay. So, Francesco, Jay has been developing, several application-specific modules and probably continue to do so in the future. So, whenever a new solar application surfaces, so what are the key parameters you really look at before you start focusing on any particular module design? So, what's the threshold you look at?
Yeah, I mean, this is the preliminary phase to evaluate the starting of a project on new scenarios, and we are daily, in communication with our R&D department and product management department in order to provide the real numbers or what we can collect from the market. It's very important at a large scale to define the potential applications for the future. This is the starting point, and sometimes it's difficult because there are different regulations in different countries or different demands on a same scenario. I'm referring to Europe as well, specifically. For example, the agri-PV application. Okay, so agri-PV application is a very interesting scenario, not really defined as a standard because every country is now detailing different regulations, different configurations. Like in Italy, for example, we were yesterday at a conference talking about agri-PV and how the Italian market is detailing, creating also barriers on the spreading of a standardized solution. So from an investment point of view, from the manufacturer's point of view, what we really try to find is for sure define as the most profitable market, for sure, the most profitable scenarios. We are less flexible, as Ahmed said, as AE or other smaller manufacturers that can maybe invest more time in defining smaller market applications, but also very interesting. So that's why, for example, we started investigation about the balcony. Okay, about the balcony, that is very interesting, and I like this. Do-it-yourself applications, but I mean, for a company as JA, we evaluate. I mean, in this moment, maybe it's not a profitable market for us because it also creates contrast and with our distributors. So we need to evaluate case by case, and for sure, then the process once the definitions of the markets and the scenarios and what we need to address. Then the process is very fast, so we can develop suitable solutions in a very quick way, as we did for the floating, as we did for the desert, and then continuing this process, evaluating the feedback from the market, evaluating the cost benefits of the solution, and then transferring to customer, trying to educate them that, I mean, if they put attention on the quality of the material, on the solution that we need to explain better, they can have a benefit on their project. So this is the key factor.
Okay, so then let me build up one more question. I think I have a few others, but I think you mostly answered them. So, I don't know if you're allowed to say, but which of these non-mainstream applications are major? You have a whole list of products for specialty applications, but if you're allowed to say, it would be nice. So what's really more interesting or more larger portion of this segment for you?
I go. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and then I think the most interesting scenarios right now, as I told you, is not only agri-PV, but I think that desert is one of them, because we have a lot of potential application worldwide, even for Europe. As I said, dusty areas can be, I mean, can use a desert one for all the benefits of the special glass and anti-dust features can be, applied even in Europe. But there are also other applications like floating and offshore that I think it will spread a lot in the future. And referring to Ahmed application, I think also carport are very interesting. I think it's several years that I was talking to other colleagues. Carport, especially in Europe, is really high trend for the future, and it will develop a lot because we have free spaces, parking lot, or also combination with electrical vehicles that can boost this market in Europe. So I think these are the key markets, and then also for sure places where now hail resistant, high hail resistance is required is another very hot topic in Europe, especially in some areas that face hailstorms that destroy completely big plants. So we are really involved in improving these features, also for the hail resistance and the mechanical load as well, where more attention are needed.
Okay, and I think Hamid. So apart from whatever you covered in today's presentation, do you see any other area?
Regarding to the other, it's like different applications. So every day comes a new application, but we believe that, of course, agri-PV and carport are going to be the big ones. Of course, comes like floating and the others, but they are all kind of customized modules, but they are in larger scale. And then it comes to the smaller scale, which wouldn't interest the big manufacturers that much. Okay, but in my opinion, in the future, and by the way, regarding to the Alpine, we have also this product in the portfolio because it's due to the regulations that we have, especially in Switzerland, it's quite requested. I personally do not like much to label it as hail resistant. I mean, it can tolerate hail and wouldn't break, of course, but I would put hail into insurance case and not much of a warranty and quality case. But of course, high load of snow can be tolerated by the module, so this is quite important. For us, is at the moment we are targeting basically all interesting markets. And regarding to the balcony PV, the statistics are interesting. In the past years, the market volume has been increased for 755 times. Okay, so this is big, but it's a lot of headaches when you are selling just two pieces of the modules to one customer, and then you have a lot of paperwork. So it should go through the distributors.
Management costs.
Exactly. So it's a kind of a standard module. I wouldn't separate it much from a standard module in the sense of production, but in a sense of marketing and put it into the market. It should definitely go through the distributors, and this is not something that we want to put a special attention from the manufacturing point of view on it.
Okay. From the broader sense, material selection, I think, is really the key when developing an application-specific module. But what is really more critical than materials when developing such modules?
You mean from regulations or
whatever. So what do you rate as a larger barrier when you want to go there and when you have a nice concept you want to develop, and then material selection is really key. So you do your R&D guys put to work, and then But then that's material. But what else?
I think main barriers could be related to different regulations and technical regulations that we can have in different countries. Even in Europe, sometimes we define a European common standard, and we don't apply it properly. I have an example right now regarding the Italian fire regulation, fire classification regulation that came in September, that is going to apply the European standard 13501. And this regulation is in place since many years in Europe, but not really applied by different countries. So when now the market is asking us, okay, I need a module with a specific class, fire class resistance according to the new standard, and maybe we need to adapt the materials. But this is coming from the regulation that is putting a barrier and then a new challenge to focus on. And also, this standard is not applied homogeneously to all the countries. So every country maybe are taking different technical standards to do the testing. I'm referring to the B-roof standard. In Germany, they are following in a standard. In Italy, another one. In Sweden, another one. And also for agri-PV, for example, one of the barrier when we are really talking about integration of PV and agriculture, and it's not only PV, it's also agriculture. It means transparent models and definition of how the models should be transparent refer to the culture that you are cultivating in a field. It's crucial, and so that's why there are some regulation or standard or best practice that are coming from some countries, for example, for agri-PV, but we are still far from. So we can define right now a real standard for the transparent version for agri-PV, and we hope that this will be clear for the future. Then we can develop standard products also for regulation that are more clear. So this point of view, our point of view, especially on these barriers.
Okay, so maybe I can say something from the production point of view, and when we are making a new product. So yes, of course, we have in the beginning the R&D part. We want to ensure that everything works right. Okay, but when it comes to the production, there are some challenges. Of course, the most important or the most challenging one for us is the supply chain. This means, for example, if we make a new PV module, and with the new PV module, we are slightly bigger in the size in glass. This is not a glass that we can easily get it from a glass supplier. So this means that we have to really order it in a way, wait for a longer time, and then we have to put it in the warehouse. We make the modules, and then it comes the next stage. Okay, so we have to really make sure that every balance of the points that we are making the module in every step, we have enough capacity from the standard products. Then we will be fast. So, for example, in our new shade-resistant module, we had to limit ourselves in the glass dimension of a standard module. We could make even a better module with a better shade resistivity, but it was a big restriction. So we had to innovate within that area, okay? And then it comes, of course, the modifications that we need to do during production. So it might happen that for specific modules, for example, for our agri-PV module or for the shade-resistant module, we have a different bossing stage, okay, during the production. So this is, again, changes one step of production, which needs a kind of engineering, but we always do our best that we make a product with a unique selling point and an added value to the market with the least costs in the sense of production and in the sense of supply chain. So this is for us is the main challenge in the sense of production. And of course, then it's on another stages like when it comes to sales and acceptance.
Okay, so I think, I listed several questions, but I think more or less we touched most of these topics. So, and we are also running out of the time. So let me come to the closing remark. is there one thing, be technology, policy, mindset, that could really accelerate the advancements of the advanced solar modules, and what it would be? Something can change this entire equation, our ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, dissemination of these advanced solar models are mostly, I think, related to the policies and to the standards applications. We can develop, the industry can develop, I mean, everything right now, or can adapt and find solutions, but clear regulations for every application should be, I mean, promoted even from our side in order to spread feasible solutions in different markets. For example, the BIPV, so the building integration, is something that before the colleagues say that we need to educate architects. Okay, we need to transfer this concept because basically the level of knowledge, especially on these new technologies, is not at high level, not only in architecture, okay, but then we need to really report what the technology can do, and then policy and also mindset and well based knowledge can for sure increase new applications, and this is the target of the PV mindset you should have. So the PV should be applied in the future everywhere. This is the concept of distributed production, not only utilities, but I mean application that can really give some advantages for the future, and combined with the urban assets, the electrification for the vehicles and other applications that for sure can benefit from PV models.
Thank you. Hamid?
Regarding to the 3 points that you said, technology, regulatories, and policies and mindset, basically all three are important. For example, in case that we are talking about different advanced modules and videos, we have to first of all look into the market cap and acceptance and whether it makes sense. Because sometimes some products are overlapping each other, like the VIPV and carport PV. You have to see which one is easier, which one is cheaper, which one makes more sense, and etc., etc. And therefore, they even compete with each other in between. But from the technology point of view, the technology point of view is the easiest. You can really do advancements in the sense of technology, but regulation is something which really pushes it. For example, in the case of VIPV, which was discussed also with Juan and also pointed by you, when you are driving a car, you have a lot of technological aspects, but you have to come to the regulations of the car standard and no more the PV standard. But when you put it on the back of a truck and the truck is driving through Switzerland and there is a regulation that you have a lower carbon emission, then there is a kind of win for you, And again, it comes to the acceptance at the end, whether it would be really accepted by the society or not. There are like different mentalities. Probably a company like Andreas Schmidt or the logistic companies, they might be to some extent interested to this point, but at the end of the day, it's a product that they have to change. It requires maintenance. So it should be accepted by them. And when it's accepted by them, it boosts the market. And this is something, for example, with vertical PV is also one topic that we are dealing with. So lots of regulations needs to be done, but lots of regulations can also push it, push the market. And this is quite important. But meanwhile, from the customer side, acceptance is a big issue, because we really need that the customer could understand the economics behind a product like what, for example, Christian was showing in the presentation for the vertical PV. And then they start to bring interest to the project or the solution and start to implement it, and it will boost. And we need to understand these advanced modules, some of them, especially like carport PV, agri PV, floating, these are still niche markets, but with a very, very big potential. Means that in some point, the border between mainstream and niche market would be somehow faded. You know, they are going to be so big that that it becomes kind of a standard product.
Nice, great. So on this note, that we need everything. So I would like to close today's conference. So thanks a lot, especially to all presenters, especially Hamid and Francisco. Great insights. And yeah, once again, thanks to our sponsors, AESOLAR and AESOLAR. Exactly, that's what we have, the representation in the panel. And, you know, before you go, I would just like to inform you that please mark your calendar. We are going to have another virtual event on November 6th. This is a virtual conference on reliable PV module design. And then we are also doing a physical event on November 13th, especially in Germany. So TaiyangNews, in collaboration with ICO, we are doing a workshop on back contact technology. And yeah, again, please also check our reports section of the website, where we have two important reports. So cell and module production of equipment and materials is the latest one. But before that, just 15 days before that, we also released new solar modules and mounting systems. And my today's presentation is also mostly a summary of this report. So yeah, thanks for joining us today. You know, I hope you found the session is really insightful. I really learned a lot, and we look forward to seeing you again, whether at one of our virtual or physical event. Until then, stay tuned with TaiyangNews and have a great day. Bye-bye.